educated folks. Calling them a coon, no it wasn't jokes. Man, you tripping like your foot caught between the spokes. You couldn't hold a light next to hurricane. Southern Maine with better class and better brains. Out rebuilding our communities and other things. Like making up for all the damage from the dope slang. Candace O, she's a queen in her own right. Not the type to monetize off her own plight. Working hard for black America day and night. Understand that you're not the only dog in this fight. Terrence K refused to be a product of the system. Bounce around the foster care, no he ain't a victim. You got probation and luckily dies going to prison. Yeah, you believe you had the right to pose criticism? David Harris, I can tell the pain's authentic. He truly cares for the people, meaning all pigment. Your music is a reason why this generation's violent. Another reason why I couldn't stay silent. Miss Staten, she's a G, she did real time. All you do is talk about it, a real crime. But even that can't hold her back while she steady climb the long ladder to success in these troubled times. Tell me what's wrong with Pastor Darrell Scott? You hating on the man, simply how I walk with God. When he supported you when you was Snoop lying. Even when the majority figures Snoop lying. Look, I ain't falling for the tongue in cheek. Your virtual threats, man, they kinda weak. Cause I bet you ain't stepping to the Hodge twins. Just to fight with Shaw loses and Hobbs wins. You hate on Diamond and Silk, Paris Bernard. They support the president and that is regardless of all the hate that they receive. Being loyal is a trait that a dog can't conceive, huh? Funny how you say we work for massa. Hold on to that thought, got some questions wanna ask you. Who's in videos with the chains around the neck? Posing next to Trump, the very man you disrespect. Who's buddy with all the Democrats? The very same party owned slaves in the past. Who's the one seen treating women like the objects? Pushing drugs, alcohol seems pretty obvious. Who became a slave to the game? Traded all your moors for the fame. No more calling names. A real man step up to the base. Better ask a Breakfast Club how these facts really taste.
That was good, man. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's why I like watching it, man, cause you be hitting with the spit in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Nigga like me, I don't even do stats. I got common sense. I just be like, listen, that just don't make no sense, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be, but if I had stats, my God.
My thing was, what I said was defeating white supremacy. White people could create black supremacy, and this is what I'm talking about.
I feel like Terry Crews. I became a target all simply for my views. I'm willing to go and die on this hill. Yeah, Terry Crews. I questioned BLM and that's all it took. Now they call me Uncle Tom, you ever read the book? I'm seeing black supremacy everywhere I look. Exposed the whole agenda, dog, and I left them shook. They coming for my head, now I'm speaking out. On the road to equality, ain't no different route. From Don Lemon and others putting words in my mouth. To the gatekeepers I still don't know anything about. That's the hard truth within the black race. Typecasted as a white man in black face. So they label me a traitor, a disgrace. That's why nowadays I feel like Terry Crews. I became a target all simply for my views. Stand on my beliefs, dog, that is what I choose. Never back it down, and even if I lose, I'm willing to go and die on this hill. Terry Crews. I became a target all simply for my views. I'm willing to go and die on this hill. Terry Crews. I'm ringing the alarm, time to wake up. 40 acres, lot of ground for us to make up. All this violence that we see, we need to break up. And understand that we all got a cross we can take up. But usually our community in this situation is cause we seeking unity without communication. We sprinkle in the media and their misinformation. And now we got communism running out through the nation. Talking about defunding all the police. Got us marching, yelling no justice, no peace. Out here looting black businesses and slowly becoming the very thing that we said we are opposing. Wow. I swear we all just need a mirror. It's 2020, y'all, and it couldn't be any clearer. And if I tweet some things, I'm hoping they be a trigger to make you reconsider. I feel like Terry Crews.
welcome to Plausible Foolishness. We didn't do the normal intro because it was freaking out.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I am... You're watching Plausible Foolishness, home of the Rube Empire. I am the mad scientist Matt, philosopher king, Ivory Tower. And I've got a perspective on things.
You do. And I am Dusty, the producer, the Duke. Multiple titles here. I'm liking this. Yeah, I do put the taxes in the treasury.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true.
It's true.
What can I say? That's what I do.
But, hey, despite the technical difficulty at the beginning, we got a good show for you tonight.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We got some really serious stuff to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff. We got media. We got happening in the news. The only thing we really don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight, believe it or not, is Trump.
But it's actually been like that for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, he's well.
It seemed like for weeks on end we always had a story about Trump.
Yeah.
And then we decided to make a segment about it.
And
just
nothing.
to condense it all into one little bit, and then there's nothing. And that's fine. I mean,
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think people are just not reporting on him, hoping he'd go away.
Okay, well,
Because they've already banned him, so he can't reach out.
Well, for the longest time, he was the mainstream or the corporate media's bread and butter, you know. And so once he was gone, it was like that was a big problem. They had to keep talking about him over and over and over again.
It was the only thing keeping CNN on air.
For sure. I mean, all of these. Yeah, all of this crap.
MSNBC, CNN, even Fox.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's not like Fox is, the bastion of
conservative views.
Yeah, it really isn't.
No.
It's not bad.
It's
not
more
terrible.
Conservative than the rest.
Sure.
But is it really representative of conservatives? No.
Yeah. Not really.
Not really.
So, that being said, let's just jump right into it.
All right.
So, media.
So, where can
Pop
people...
culture. Okay, well...
Well, first off, let's find out, where can the people find us?
Well, obviously you're watching us right now on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, or YouTube, or Facebook Live. Thank you for watching.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching.
You can also find us on Instagram, although I just found out today that Ray has not been keeping that up. So
Ray?
Yeah, well, I mean, he quit on us, so.
Yeah.
He didn't quit.
Yes, he did.
He sort of quit.
He's a quitter.
He downgraded to once a month.
He's a quitter. I mean, the man can't grind to save his life.
You said it, not me.
Come on, Ray. Come on.
No, but he downgraded to once a month.
Yes, he did.
And I guess that included the Instagram account. So I guess I'll jump on there or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I hate social media. He hates social media.
I don't hate social media.
I hate social media.
Okay,
so let's talk social media. Why don't you hate social media? You should hate it. Everybody should hate it.
There are small aspects that I really like, but there are more downsides than good.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, garbage. We agree.
No.
Complete waste of time.
Yes.
And energy.
No.
And,
yes. No. Yes.
Alright, so we agree.
No.
Don't use social media, it's bad. It's a waste of your time, and it's stupid. And,
and I'm going to be back and forth on this, because I'm kind of in the middle on that aspect. Because it's allowed me to keep in touch with family and friends that are all over this world that God created for us.
I say that, but I don't keep in touch with anybody. I don't use it for that. I like Instagram because there's like some artists that I follow that draw amazing things, and so I can see some cool stuff there. It's
Agreed.
So there's some people who have some interesting opinions. Interesting.
All right.
That's a family way to say interesting when I was growing up. Interesting.
Are you sure the girls didn't?
No.
Okay.
That was actually, it was either me or one of my siblings.
Interesting.
Right. They have some interesting views and so that it's useful for things like that, sort of. I like that it, in many ways, breaks the back of the corporate media because they're not the only way you can get information.
That is true.
Anymore.
I do like that aspect of it.
But then again, it's also like anything on the internet. How do you discern what is true and what isn't? It's also a vehicle for misinformation.
Oh yeah.
And
it's one of those things where you have to know the truth in order to see and understand a lie.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing is, it's full of vapid. I don't want to say maybe useless people, not worthless, because I don't believe anybody's worthless. But people who have made little use of themselves, let's say.
The sporks of our population.
The what?
The sporks.
Sporks. What's a spork?
You know what a spork is?
I know a spork.
Yeah. Spork.
Okay. We're I think it's called a spork.
No, it's a spork.
No. It's a spoon and a fork together.
Yes.
Yes, that's a spork.
Okay, I was always told it's pronounced spork.
Well, the problem is that then you're not really joining two words, You gotta have a couple letters of the other word, not just one.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Either
anyways,
way, okay, yes. Okay.
They would be the spork of the human race.
They're barely useful.
They're kind of useful, but not good as a fork and not good as a spoon.
Yeah. You can get things into your mouth, but it's gonna stab you with the front pointy bits.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Filled with that. It's like, yeah, I get it. You wear bikinis all the time. Whatever.
Who cares?
Why? How are you making more money than me? I hate you.
Why do you make more money than me?
You do
per
nothing.
minute?
You do nothing.
You sit there. You sit there and do nothing and make more money.
I mean, now you could chalk that up to envy and maybe. I'd say it's jealousy. It's not that I don't necessarily want them to have the money.
I don't even care about the money. I just don't understand it.
Well, I care about the money.
Well, you might. I don't. I really don't.
I'm not saying I want to be a billionaire.
I just wish I could understand it.
I'm not saying I want to be a billionaire. I'm just saying, I want to make a decent living.
I want to be a billionaire.
I mean, if it happened, I wouldn't, poo-poo it. But I'm not, I'm not going out there to try to be a billionaire,
Yeah. Because then you could launch yourself into space, or create your own space.
People
program.
were so people were very upset about that.
About what?
About Bezos going into space. Like, it seemed like there was this like.
It was almost a negative backlash to him building his own spaceship and sending himself up to space.
I mean,
granted, he sent the oldest person, who was a woman, into space, and now they're even trying to say, well, he didn't go far enough out to be considered outer space.
Yeah, they want to trash him. And I'm no friend of Bezos. He owns the Washington Post. What a garbage.
Yeah.
Rag that is. And then it's more like
Democrats like tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously
and BLM and Antifa and all these other not so good organizations.
But they'll be like, he did it on the backs of Amazon and us. By what? By producing the greatest delivery system of goods the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a douche! You know, a monster. You know.
Well, I would consider him more of a Dr. Evil.
Well, I mean, like
because his spaceship looks like a Johnson.
That is true.
That was, if nothing else came out of that, that was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, 100%. Those memes funny and hilariously accurate. It's just the argument
all day long.
Yeah, it's just the argument that he like somehow swindled us out of all this money so that he could send himself into space in a giant wiener.
Besides the fact that they accuse him of operating sweatshops at Amazon delivery centers, which I don't know, he might, but people can choose to work there or not. So it's one of those kind of the like Lay's and them dealing with the unions right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that later.
Sure.
Yeah, but you don't have to work there. So quit. Go find someplace else to work. There are 11 million jobs out there that are unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
There are 9 million people on unemployment. Why are we at 6% unemployment?
Well, you know the deal. You know what the deal is? It's fear.
Of what?
Of not
what?
being able to find another job. Or
before you quit,
fear of the unknown of what that new job will be.
You find the other job, and then you turn in your 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you go to the other job.
Agreed.
I have done that multiple times in my life. And guess what? Some jobs I liked, some jobs I didn't. And if I didn't like it, I found another job. And I went to the other one.
Yes, I agree, man. I agree.
That's called life.
But some people, I'm not saying that they're entitled to anything because they're afraid.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's people who are afraid,
Yes.
Afraid of.
And I understand that fear. I have a family. I'm scared all the time that I'm going to be fired the next day and not be able to provide for them. And then all of a sudden, I have this wonderful God that I can turn to and go, hey, God, this is in your hands. I can't control this, but I'm just going to do the best I can doing my job over here. And it's up to you.
Sure.
I trust that he's got my best interest in heart and that I'm following what he wants for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And that's how I deal with my fear. Now, not everybody believes in God like they should.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why, but they don't, and they should, because he really does alleviate a lot of my fears and a lot of my doubts. It's not that I don't have them; it's that I give them to him because they're bigger than me. I can't, me as a person, a man, just a simple man,
mm-hmm.
can't deal with stuff that's outside of my control. And so I have to give it to him, go, hey, that's his. It's not mine, it's his.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, Bible says, cast all your cares upon him, for he careth for you.
Exactly.
That's part and parcel to the Christian life. I'm just saying, like, there. So people won't leave because they're afraid. There might be a select few that actually like. There's probably lots of people who like their job there.
Yeah.
And aren't complaining constantly about it. I don't know what the conditions are.
I've worked bad jobs.
They're not the conditions for workers in China, I'll tell you that.
It's not paid like in China either.
No, it's not. So again, what are we talking about? Why is this such a big deal?
I don't know.
Like, if you hate the guy, don't use Amazon. But who's gonna do that? Like, where else are you going to find almost exactly what you need in seconds, order it seconds later, and then have it there within like a day or two, for the most part?
They used to call that a mall.
No, have it there at your home.
Yeah.
No, you have to go to the mall.
Yeah.
And you have to hope that they have it in stock. Amazon pretty much has it in stock.
About the closest thing to Amazon prior to...
Not entirely, but...
Prior to Amazon was Walmart or Radio Shack.
Mm-hmm. And then the argument would be, or make another Amazon, but that's...
Oh, they did?
Sorry, that's just...
It's called eBay.
Yeah, that's not Amazon either.
No, it's not Amazon either.
No, you can't make another Amazon. That genie's out of the bottle.
Or Craigslist.
Amazon would just have to fall apart.
I keep going down the tiers for reliability.
Yeah. Well,
Craigslist people, great place to find reliable goods.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta do this myself.
No, we get a copyright. You have to take that one off.
Okay. I'll switch it out.
Yeah, we'll switch it out. But yeah, you can't make it. You can't make another Amazon.
Not really.
Amazon has the cultural collateral, like times a million. And as long as they continue to get stuff to you in like a day,
in a timely manner.
And
actually, Sears used to do the same thing, but that would take about a month.
Yeah. And it was only the stuff that they had in their catalog. It's like Amazon doesn't make anything per se. There's some things. Like,
not really.
Well, like there's like books, like
their publishing department.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and like self-publishing, I mean that's technically an Amazon product. I'd say.
Their movies.
Yeah.
And shows.
Yeah, Prime. There's stuff like that. That's extras to what Amazon is, though.
Yeah.
It's everybody else sells on there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amazon
and frankly, sometimes it's not the best price.
No, it isn't.
A lot of times it is. Sometimes it's not. It's just that it's so freaking convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's right here.
And they've been able, they're like light years ahead, because like a startup would have to be able to have warehouses all over the U.S. so that they could get you the stuff orders. Get the stuff to you like that,
Mm-hmm.
Like Amazon's just locked in.
Yeah. They were the first ones to do it, and they did it big enough and fast enough.
And they did it right, and then they showed the world their face,
Yeah, they were able to keep
it's
it.
The
under
same
wraps.
thing with freaking Google,
and Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, they made MySpace better. I'm dating myself by knowing this.
Yeah, MySpace was garbage. I signed up for like a day, and then I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever, and I shut it down.
I was actually going to school for computer programming while that was all big, and I had all my friends coming to me. Oh, hey, can you pimp my page for me? I did a lot of that. Hey, it made me $50 a pop.
That's awesome.
I paid my rent several times doing that.
That's hey man, this is the way. That's capitalism. But
this is the way.
Anyway, yes. Pop culture. Anything good? Anything interesting going on?
Not really. There's not a whole lot of movies coming out right now. The only thing out right now is that The Rock's new movie,
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got like a 90% something.
Everybody's raving about it, but I just have no desire to see it whatsoever.
I don't know why, man. I know why. It's because he endorsed Biden.
Is it?
For me, that's why.
Yeah.
It's like, I just like, it's like I like him still. I think that was a poor choice, but I still think he's a good dude, relatively. And I mean, that's what he promotes, at least, being good to each other and stuff like that. Which is not in and of itself a bad thing, but it's also just outright abused by the left constantly.
Yeah, it's more of a platitude for them.
Yeah, well, it's a platitude and a vehicle by which they can support their tyranny. But I mean, he doesn't seem to be about that. But it's like, I'm just like, my enthusiasm for him. You know what it also is. He did The Rundown, right? That was his first.
Yeah, that was one of his first movies.
It's not actually the first movie he filmed.
No,
by the way, actually, the first movie he filmed never went to release.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. My best friend in elementary school actually starred in it, and he and The Rock played this like thug that mugged them and I don't know, did some other stuff. I don't know if he was throughout the movie or just a small part, a cameo. But it never made it to theaters.
I'm surprised with as big as he is now that it never actually came out as just like a, hey, The Rock's in this. We're gonna make $1 million off of nothing.
I wonder if that maybe like straight to DVD or something like that. That's something to look up. I don't know.
Straight to stream.
Yeah.
There's no DVDs anymore.
That's true. Yeah. You're right.
Well,
right. That was
there's
dumb.
still Redbox, but I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Dollar General.
But so The Rundown was the first movie, and it was great. It was gritty action. He was BA, even though his character is like, I don't use guns, but then he eventually uses guns and he kicks everybody's butt.
Yeah.
And but that was kind of the last real gritty action movie he ever did. He does funny, fun movies with action in them.
Yeah.
Well, okay, unless you can consider the Fast and Furious series, but I never consider the Fast and Furious series for anything. So, especially not watching.
Especially not for cars.
for not just for viewing in general, I don't consider it.
I like to watch Fast and Furious movies to go, that's not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even get that much enjoyment out of it.
I get that.
I like Vin Diesel too.
Really?
I like Vin Diesel.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
What is the series? Riddick.
Oh, yeah. Chronicles of Riddick.
Now, I like the first one, which is Pitch Black.
Yep.
And I like the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yes.
And then they released that other third garbage that was basically Pitch Black 2, but they called it a Riddick movie, the Chronicles of Riddick.
Mm-hmm. Part of the Chronicles of Riddick. But it wasn't really anything.
And, well, it was just the same, it was the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They ended Riddick on, like, gold, They ended the Chronicles of Riddick on gold. He had killed the dude, and he was you keep what you kill. So now he's in charge of the necromongers.
Yep.
And and you're just like, what the heck? And then they just like, I don't really want to figure out more of that story. So what we're gonna do is have him running from everybody because they're all trying to kill him, and then we do Pitch Black 2. It's like, no!
That's not what you do.
No! You finish that, tell that story!
You gotta understand, people in Hollywood are extraordinarily lazy when it comes to story writing, in the fact that, okay, we've got something good here, we need to make another one. Well, what was good about the other ones? No. You don't ask that question. That's the wrong question. You go, where is the story going? And you go that direction.
Yeah.
You follow the story, not where you've been, but where you're going.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to where
it's a different planet with almost exactly the same problem.
Yeah.
You know, except this one involves rain, the other one involved the sun's going away. Genius.
Oh yeah.
Roman Mailey. It's funny how Rock is twice the size of Vin, but Toretta and Hobbs are equal strength. Yeah, well, you know. Like, my understanding is that in Vin Diesel's contract, he's like...
Yeah, he's the man.
He's the man for the movie, and that's all there is to it.
Well, I'm sorry, if you're going to back up that dump truck full of money, keep them coming.
Yeah, for
keep
sure.
Them coming. Just add another number to whatever fast it is.
Yes. Okay, so, is there any movie upcoming that you're excited about? There are two for me.
No.
I want to see The Green Knight.
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about that. My apologies. You showed me that. That does look really good.
I don't know if we talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
On the show?
Yep.
But check out the trailer. It looks really interesting. I want to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I thought you said you wanted movies that I was excited about.
How are you not excited about Ghostbusters Afterlife? How? There's absolutely nothing wrong with the trailer. The trailer is gold.
The trailer is gold. That's what has me worried. Okay. I've been burned on so many trailers that...
I've never been burned on a trailer.
This looks so good. God, that was garbage.
I've never been burned on a trailer.
Seriously?
Never.
Never?
Ever.
Not once.
I absolutely always know that a movie is going to be good or bad from the trailer.
You lucky dog. I love watching trailers. Trailers.
No, there's been times when I was pleasantly surprised, but I can just sniff out garbage a mile away. I don't know how.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm brain farting pretty badly on a movie that I've been burned on, but there are several. And believe it or not, I have the trailers saved in my YouTube account because I like the trailers so much. But the movies are absolutely just trash.
Interesting. No, I mean...
Contact was one. Where...
Contact held no interest for me.
Really? Oh, I loved it. I loved... When that was being made, I was really into SETI. And the idea of it and all of that. Anything I could get on SETI, I'd read it. And then the movie comes out, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. They're going to travel to another planet. It's based in our existence or timeline. Okay, this could be cool. And the movie is awful. Just bleh.
Yeah. Let's see. What was I? Like, okay, so when Pearl Harbor came out. Now this is a long time ago. But all of my friends were so excited. And the trailer was good, you know. It was like bombs and aerial battles and stuff like that, you know, and all that stuff. But I was like, they're all like, man, I can't wait to see that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That is going to be Titanic with bombs. I promise you. They all went and saw it. I did not see it. And and they come out and they're like, yeah, it was Titanic with bombs. That was terrible. And I was like, told you.
Yeah.
Told you.
By the way, Titanic sinks in that movie. Just make sure everybody knows.
It's also garbage. But, yeah, there's been movies that I like Unbreakable was one that I liked way more than I thought I would. You know, I didn't think I wouldn't like it. I just didn't think that I would like it as much as I do. You know, and there's been plenty that I've been skeptical on. Like the trailer was good, but there's elements that I'm like, this is...
Oh, I know a big one. Star Wars Episode 8.
Episode 8, really? Okay.
I was really geared for it. Force Awakens wasn't a bad movie. I actually enjoyed Force Awakens.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
But it was
I mean, it was obviously a New Hope
It was completely a remake of New Hope, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
Sure.
It's another generation getting to see New Hope.
Exactly, and
Fine,
and they're
whatever.
introducing new characters. The trailer. I was
Really?
just hyped because it was Star Wars.
Okay.
That's what I would argue. I didn't see the trailer and like, oh my god, I gotta see this movie.
I heard the
I was
soundtrack.
Like, I heard that I knew that they were making an 8, so as soon as 7 was over, I gotta see episode 8.
No,
you know?
of course.
So, like, I was already hyped. This is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I didn't know it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the trailer.
When did you see the trailer?
Just recently. Well, I saw the teaser a while ago, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty good.
The teaser was actually released last year.
Yeah, and then I just recently saw the trailer that
good.
that like expands it more.
Yeah, the 2-minute trailer.
And I'm loving it. You know, this is gonna be a spoiler for those who haven't seen the trailer, but you know, like it's Egon's grandchildren.
Yeah, which is a great premise.
Great, you know, especially because Egon is actually dead.
Yeah.
You know, the actor, what's his name?
I don't remember his name. Great writer.
Raimi.
Like I said, I don't remember
whatever.
his. But like I said, he was a great.
You know, he's
writer.
dead. Apparently,
Funny
he married the receptionist.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Because they kind of teased that.
Harold Ramis, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Roman.
And thank you for watching.
Yes. We love having you guys here.
But so it's his grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like basically he's kind of like left this property to them in this town, and you know there hasn't been ghosts in like 30 years.
Yep.
But he's like left them a mystery. And
there's
and then
a mystery happening.
Well, there's a mystery, but like
working on.
But yeah. I mean, like he had started the work, and now they're completing his work.
Yeah.
Right. And Paul Rudd's in it, so that's automatically good.
More often than not, yes.
I'd say so. I haven't seen anything that I didn't like. I mean, except for like maybe some kind of really raunchy comedy that I just wouldn't like because
usually the rom-coms that he's in, I really am not a big fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
I don't even mark those as categories of movie. They're not on my radar. Like I'm so not going to ever watch them that like did that even exist? Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, my wife watches rom-coms like they're going out of style, and I'm just like, okay, I'll watch it with you. I love you, sweetie. I do.
I wouldn't watch a Hollywood rom-com over I would watch a Hallmark rom-com more than I would.
Why torture yourself?
Ghostbusters Answer the Call will never be beat. Thank you, Deep State. It will never be beat in terms of awfulness.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the reason why I'm leery.
See, yeah, you're gun shy. You're gun shy because we had that travesty.
So my expectations are low, which is good.
It's always good.
I always love having low expectations for a movie.
You should always strive to have low expectations going into a movie.
But I can't.
It's very hard to do sometimes.
Especially when it says Star Wars on it.
Yeah. Well, not with Episode 9. I'm sure that wasn't hard to have low expectations.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, okay, they're bringing back all the people that should make this movie, right? They even brought back George Lucas to help make the movie, right? And they still bombed it. Granted, they had to come back from something that was absolutely abysmal to something that's less abysmal.
True. But at that point, I was already done. I still haven't seen it.
You're not missing anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a darn thing.
And you know what was interesting? You want to hear something interesting?
Sure.
I actually liked elements of Episode 8 when I first watched it. The first time I watched it.
Yeah, there's great elements in it.
I liked grizzled Luke. I didn't necessarily like their explanation of why he was grizzled. It seemed a little
contrived.
Thin. It was thin. It was very thin.
See, here's the thing. I even read the companion books to episode 8, 7, 8, and 9.
Mm.
Like, there's companion books that tell the story of Luke and all of his different travels and where he learned different stuff. Like the fishing thing, he actually learned that on another planet. And so it's like, okay, I see that. All right, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. I just hated what they did with him. He started off as a whiny little farmer to learning how to be a Jedi, to being a Jedi, to saving his father, to going to train other Jedis, to I'm a grizzly, whiny old man.
Yeah, I mean,
they literally took him back to the beginning and said nothing happened of any consequence.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's. I came to realize that that's the undoing. That's the postmodern undoing. They were deconstructing Star Wars.
Yeah, and
you know,
they
were doing what postmodern, progressive, leftist, woke morons do. They deconstruct what was good and replace it with something worse, right?
Yeah, like the whole trip to the casino planet that absolutely had
I hated that
business.
Absolutely hated that part because it was just this monolithic evil of the rich. I'm so sick of that.
And that served absolutely zero.
Well, yeah,
zero
it ended
plot.
up being pointless because they didn't ultimately accomplish anything.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have half an hour of movie that could be cut out and nobody would notice.
Mm-hmm. But like, I liked the idea of a not. I didn't want him to be whiny, but like a Luke who had lost faith in the Jedi Order. You know.
That's fine, but I'm sorry if somebody brought back an heirloom you thought was lost from your dead father that you redeemed. Yeah, would you just chuck it off the side of a cliff?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
No one would do that.
Yeah, it was stupid. That was supposed to be. Like, oh, intriguing. Well, you failed, Mr. Director.
Yeah.
Anyway,
even Mark Hamill said Luke Skywalker would never do that.
Yeah, no.
And that's the one person other than George Lucas who would know better than anybody else.
Yeah.
He's only played that character for how many decades?
Anyway, and I also, but like, so grizzled Luke I didn't hate. I didn't consider the ramifications of a hyperspace bomb. Like what Ambassador Emasculator, whatever her name was, I can't remember.
The one that refused to share any plans whatsoever because
because Poe Dameron needs to be learned he needs to be learned a lesson about
because his patriarchy is showing.
But about patriarchy. Okay.
Yes.
About toxic masculinity.
So toxic.
Yeah. Anyway, so so that was that garbage. I didn't think, I was like, okay, I mean that makes sense. Until you realize that, well, then why don't they just put hyperspace engines into missiles and destroy whole armies in one go all the time?
There was actually an explanation that they gave that what happened was actually a fluke. Here's the thing: when you go into hyperspace, you're not actually flying through physical space. But
well, that's not true.
Because
they have to calculate the
gravity
route.
Gravity wells. That's what they have to calculate.
But they're not flying through space, so gravity should have no effect.
Yes, it does.
No, that's
through
garbage.
Their hyperspace.
That's garbage.
Anyway,
it's garbage.
The theory was that she was in between hyperspace and regular space, and so she was able to.
Okay, so then you make a medium space bomb, and a medium space engine, and achieve the same thing. It's still, that's a garbage explanation. And
or they call it an infinite mass bomb.
Yeah, something like that.
Because they're closer to the speed of light.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's a garbage explanation, and I won't stand for it in this house of plausible foolishness. But and then the end where he shows up, and you're thinking that you're getting B.A. Luke.
I knew right from
Luke
the
like
get-go.
we've never seen. Oh yeah, I suspected.
No, it was immediately apparent.
I suspected, but I hoped.
The hair and everything. He looked like a younger Luke, and I was like, that's not him. Immediately.
Well, I mean, he looked like a younger Luke, but I just thought he, cleaned up.
Dyed his hair. No one in Star Wars dyes their hair.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they dyed.
Well,
he dyed his hair.
I can't say that because the ambassador lady,
Yeah.
purple hair lady.
But I mean, who knows what kind of force technique he knows to reverse the spell of aging. But anyway, that was very disappointing, and I would have done the ending in a much more powerful way that I've actually talked about on the show with Ray.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and
I think it was that episode. That was a great episode.
I think it was
I think I even chimed in on it several times.
Yeah, I think my ending is a knock it out of the park ending.
Mm-hmm.
But go back and watch. It's on YouTube.
Really great
it's on YouTube. I couldn't tell you what episode. I really wish that we had like a catalog, that we had like a database of
Hey, this part here.
This is what we've talked about on these episodes and so on. But whatever.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about movies for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
A little bit longer than the segment's usually supposed to last.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you get nerds talking about nerd stuff.
That's true.
Yes, there are literally hundreds.
Yeah, there are. So let's talk about some stuff. Since there's nothing to talk about Trump this week, not to mean there won't be next week.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we transition into something a little bit more today?
Okay.
I believe there's a certain person being prosecuted who for sexual harassment by 11 women.
Oof.
11.
Oof.
That's a lot. I don't think there was that many that went after Cosby.
I think there was. I think it was like 17 women.
Oh, was it? Oh. See, I wasn't even paying attention. And he's out of jail now, too.
Yeah, he is. And I'm kind of on the fence about that. Because I don't know. I don't know that I would believe.
JBN, we really don't have that much time.
Yeah.
We'd be here past
midnight. I don't know that, I don't know, I mean, it seems very much he said, she said. And then, I mean, yes, he admitted to using Quaaludes.
Who, Cosby?
Yeah, he did. Okay. In under deposition, he admitted, but those were supposed to be sealed, first of all, so they did him raw that way. I mean, that's why he got released, because that was supposed to be sealed forever, and they were like, no, screw him, But my question is, so were the women unknowingly, like, drug culture was big back then, so like, he may have been taking them too. So was everybody taking? It's just a big, and then it's like right in the middle of him going out to the black community hardcore and saying, what, frankly, needs to be said to young black men.
Yeah.
In regards to the family and culture and so on and so forth. I mean,
you have responsibility. Live up to your responsibility.
It just seems
be
way convenient, But maybe he was a scumbag. Like, that's why I'm on the fence. He could have been a scumbag. It's so hard. It's so hard in this day and age to know anything. Anyway, that's old news.
Yeah.
You're talking about, to quote JBN, Cuomo.
I believe he has a problem with...
Yeah, big time.
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square! Stop! Don't touch me there! This is
big time problem with that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
If only he had seen that video in time.
It probably would have saved him a whole lot of trouble. But, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have changed anything.
So yeah, so a judge came out, or was it a judge?
What?
Who was it? That was it the prosecutor?
Yeah.
So like the state attorney said, yeah, he's definitely committed sexual harassment.
Yep.
So.
But we're not gonna prosecute.
Did they? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
I never got to that part.
No. Oh, sorry.
I hadn't seen any headlines that were saying that, and I was just like, okay. The headlines were just.
Yeah, the headlines were all, oh, he committed this. He did this, and then down buried into the article is, oh, they're not going to prosecute him.
Rules for thee. Not for me.
Yeah. So now people are crying out, okay, well, we know he did it, so
yeah, but
why is he still governor?
Well, I mean, he won an Emmy. Of course, that didn't stop them from tearing down Weinstein, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and rightly so. The guy's a scumbag.
Yeah, he is a scumbag.
Our argument is that Governor Cuomo is a scumbag and should be taken down. He should be prosecuted.
You tried to impeach a guy that did nothing wrong twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the left.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's very much of a nice guy.
JBM's right. Rules are different for Democrats.
Yeah.
Democrats, see, that they infiltrated everything.
Yes.
See, like, the problem with conservatives in general is that...
We follow the rules?
No.
More often than not, we follow the rules?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't see that as a problem. But what's our goal? We look at the world and we see things generally for the way they are. And we say, you know, okay, these things are good. Yeah, we mind our own business, that's right.
Yeah.
These things are good, so we don't need, if it's not broke, don't fix it, you know?
Pretty much.
And so then we just let it ride. And we don't pay attention to it. Right? Yeah, well, it's not broke, so don't fix it. Meanwhile, the left is like, let's infiltrate this sucker on every level.
Break it.
Bide our time, and then break it.
So that they can fix it the way they want it.
And then once it's broken, we'll control it, and it'll be a hammer it'll be a weapon for our side. You know? And so, like, the state prosecutor's a Dem.
Yep.
I'm sure of it. Or else they'd be prosecuting.
Correct.
You know? They're all throughout the legal system. They're all throughout the bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, I mean, they're all throughout all of this stuff. They're all throughout academia. They're all throughout Hollywood. They infiltrate everything in order to turn it into a weapon. Meanwhile, we were like, you know, well, I mean, Supreme Court's important, but, you know, the justice system is pretty intact, so, you know, it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, but keep an eye on it.
Yes, definitely.
You know? Watch it. Keep it, participate in it so that it stays not broken, you know?
Exactly.
It's frustrating because it's this problem that we have to stay ever vigilant, and we've learned that, but like you get freaking tired.
Seriously,
you know,
you get burnt out after a while, and you just go, okay, I need a break.
Like we fixed it, okay, so let's.
Can you just not break for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You turn around, it's all jacked up.
Yep, the ants are back in. You know,
I think
ants
more
are all
of my
over
kids.
the counter.
Here's your toy. Please don't break it. Don't turn it off. Just let it do its thing. You just watch it.
I'm gonna go sit down.
It's broken.
As soon as your butt hits the couch. Daddy. What? It's broken. I will destroy you. I love you, kids. What's up?
I'm gonna kill you. Not really.
Yeah,
Just
so
kidding.
So, you know, again, rules for the not surprising. We got lockdowns in New York.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna play a little ditty for you.
Ooh.
I'm gonna play a little ditty.
A doodad?
Yes, if I can get to it. There it is. There it is. Let's watch this.
Maybe.
Come on.
Well, I've heard a lot worse than that.
Yeah, but this is important. This one makes
I've
no
heard
audio for the video. How is there no audio for the video? Oh man. Let me see.
Oops. I think I might have it turned down to the.
Give me a second. Give us a second.
Nope. That's in. That's in.
I got it.
Everything's in.
I think I know what it's gonna be.
Yeah, because you guys definitely need to hear that. Because talking about how, we've been so nice and we need to be friendly, but now that we're done being nice, we're coming for you.
I know what it is. Okay. Let's try it again.
All right, one more time. I wonder if I can pick his nose. Am I lined up right?
Was said a moment ago. We used to do this as parents all the time for a variety of vaccinations. We've got to shake people at this point and say, come on now. We tried voluntary. We could not have been more kind and compassionate as a country. Free testing everywhere you turn, incentives, friendly, warm embrace. The voluntary phase is over. We can keep doing those things. I'm not saying shut it down. I'm saying voluntary alone doesn't work. It's time for mandates because it's the only way to protect our people.
Okay. How arrogant is this dude? How? Who are you?
I think he's got
We've
more
been
arrogance
nice.
than Palpatine.
We've been nice. Alright? We've been kind. We said you could get it voluntarily. But that time is over. So then it wasn't freaking voluntary. It was never freaking voluntary. You never had any intention of it being voluntary. You were just playing nice with us. And who are we? Screw you. You are not some different class of person than us. Okay? You're human just like me.
No.
And we
he's
just
not.
have a different... No, he is.
He's a Dem.
No.
He's different from all of us.
He is not. We just have a different freaking opinion. And he can go cram his opinion right up his butt. Just right up in there.
How dare you?
Yeah, I dare. I dare. That is the arrogance. Kills me. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Special.
Now I'm gonna jump to another part. Give me a second.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Oh,
I hate you.
sorry, the dad jokes.
I will
come
destroy
out.
you.
It's so bad. I have the worst dad jokes.
All right. Let me turn the sound back on.
Are you surprised, Mr. Mayor, by so-called conservative leaders who are actually banning businesses, small family restaurants, entrepreneurs from running their businesses the way they want to run their businesses? And if they want to require somebody to get a vaccination to come into their store for business reasons, for safety reasons, for liability reasons, that some of these so-called conservatives who are actually, I'd say they're actually socialists, not letting the free market run its course. But are you surprised by some of these actions?
I don't even want to hear what de Blasio has to say, because he's just like, well, you're absolutely right, Joe Scarborough. I'd say that they're socialists for not letting the free market.
Give it a minute.
Okay, so the government not putting in a mandate, the state government's not putting in a mandate is socialist.
It's socialistic.
Mm-hmm. Joe Scarborough's he's such a douche. He's such a he's like
He's Nancy Pelosi douche.
Yeah, but like
That's big
wearing a conservative, skin. Like he's supposed to be the conservative, right?
No, he isn't.
Well, yeah, he's not.
No.
But like he's supposed to be that.
How dare somebody be free and make their own decisions?
Well, and they're claiming that some Republicans are blocking businesses being able to do that. That's the free market. Blah blah blah.
No, they're blocking businesses from imposing rules that could harm people.
Well, like this is discrimination.
Yeah, medical
Isn't
discrimination.
it? This is medical discrimination. So they're blocking medical discrimination. Now, I am of a mind that if a business doesn't want you to come in without a mask on, they can do that.
HIPAA is only for medical personnel.
What do you mean it's only for medical personnel? It's also for for employer-employee relationships.
Small aspects of it, but not. HIPAA mainly is mostly for doctors, blocking them from sharing your medical information.
Yes, but they don't have the right to ask. Like your employers don't have the right to ask.
No, they don't.
That's the whole point.
And that goes into privacy more than it does HIPAA.
Well, no, I mean it started with HIPAA. Like when my wife was at SeaWorld, she was a supervisor. When HIPAA got enacted, they could not. Somebody calls in sick, they can't ask why. What do you have? They couldn't ask it.
Mm-hmm.
Call in sick, you're sick. Done. That's it.
Yeah, that's all they can ask.
But deep state, there are plenty of mandates like a driver's license. What's one more? A nothing burger.
Oh, we're going to get into the driver's license things here in just 1 minute, Deep State. I'm coming for you.
A license to drive. Driving has always been a privilege.
Yeah, it's never been a right.
It's not a right. Privacy is a right.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you've been vaccinated is nobody's business.
Other than yours.
Yes. And then they'll make the argument that, but you're putting me at risk. Of what? Well, if you have COVID, you might give me COVID. Are you vaccinated? Yes. But vaccine doesn't mean that I won't get it. But it does mean that you shouldn't be too bad, and you shouldn't die from it, right?
Here's the thing. The vaccine, they've already proven the fact that the vaccine doesn't stop transmission.
Correct.
You can have the vaccine, and you can still pass the virus on to somebody.
Well, I mean, last week they were reporting that if you had gotten the vaccine, you were actually more likely to do that.
Yeah.
That you had more of the virus
load in you.
You know, whether or not that's accurate, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The point of the vaccine, if you've taken it, the point of it is that if you acquire COVID again or ever,
yes,
you're less likely to get really, really sick and die.
Okay, Deep State brings up an interesting point. Kids have to have a number of mandatory vaccines before attending schools.
Yeah, before attending public school.
Here's the thing. Those vaccines are for like polio, tetanus, chicken pox, things like that have a high mortality rate.
Sure.
What's the mortality rate on COVID now? 0.8%?
Yeah.
I think it's like 0.8, 0.9%.
But the Delta
Not even
variant
1%.
is spiking all over the place.
The Delta variant isn't the Delta variant isn't killing more, it's just spreading easier. That's the only variation from the Delta virus.
Yes, this whole thing has
Delta
been
variant to COVID.
This whole thing has been true. You know, this whole thing has been HPV. I mean,
again, that is not mandatory.
That's not mandatory, and there's no way my daughters are taking that vaccine either. It seems pointless.
There's certain vaccines that I can definitely see the point in us having.
Yeah,
Polio, for example.
not
smallpox.
We're not. This isn't an anti-vaccine show.
No,
it's
my kids are all vaccinated.
This particular vaccine and the madness going around about getting it. Like my
I'm
wife.
not talking about COVID.
My wife had had several friends that she used to work with that were sweet people, you know, very good to her, and she was friends with them, you know, not close friends, but you know, but good coworker friends, let's say. Mm-hmm. And the hate that they are spilling online for people who don't want to get the vaccination is astounding.
I just worry about it.
And some of these people never got a flu vaccine.
Why not? The flu actually has a higher mortality rate.
Exactly. That's the disconnect that they don't seem to freaking get.
Yeah.
All this time that you didn't get the flu vaccine, what you're saying about people now applies to you times like 10. Your whole life not ever getting a flu vaccine.
Yeah.
And yet you're out here spilling this vitriol about this other vaccine for a disease and then like, is it her fault though? I mean, her actions are her fault.
Yes.
100%. But her mindset, is that her fault? Because she obviously doesn't get good information. She gets corporate media information. And they're pushing this like we're all going to die.
When that's not.
And it's been almost 2 years now. You know, a
year and a half.
A year and a half. We're at a year and a half, I'd say. We're not dying.
Yeah.
You know, the human race isn't near extinction.
Nowhere even close.
Like, and they're bringing up masks again. New York City has vaccine passports. California is locking down. You know, and then pushing
their economy is doing so well.
Yeah, and pushing mail-in ballots for the recall. Okay, now there's some memes that are like, you know, oh, now they're doing mail-in ballots, you know, because they're locking down. They'd actually approved mail-in ballots, you know, months before, But that doesn't mean that this wasn't all organized.
Yeah. That wasn't set up ahead of time.
Like, that they didn't do this... Like, we've known about the Delta variant for months now.
Yes.
You know? And so it doesn't mean that they just didn't start ramping up hysteria about the Delta variant in California to be able to push lockdowns to use the mail-in ballots, to make people use the mail-in ballots that they approved months before. You know? Yeah, I'm not wearing them. Not gonna. The new CDC guideline is a mask indoors. Where are your masks?
What masks?
Well, I have to start wearing one for my stupid work again, but I'm not going to talk about that.
I work outdoors. I don't care.
Yeah. But you know, the CDC can cram it. And as far as I want to get back to the school vaccines, you know, that's if your kids go to public school.
That's true. My kids go to public school.
I think that you do have the right to not vaccinate your kids. And I think that there's still exceptions. There's probably I'm almost positive that you can have religious exceptions.
Yes, there is.
And I mean, the anti-vax thing, I think it's kind of. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. My kids have all those things, but like,
mine's not long enough.
What's her face? Who's the
actress?
Blonde hair. Jennifer.
No.
Jenny.
Jennifer?
It's Jenny.
Garner?
No, not Garner.
She's crazy, I know. I don't remember what her name is.
All right.
Anyways,
I'm gonna get it though.
He's hunting it down. Yeah, my beard doesn't fly up that high. His will. Mine isn't quite that long yet. Plus, it lays down.
Jenny
ribbons.
McCarthy.
There it is.
But she wasn't the only one. There was a senator that wrote a book on it. You know.
Yeah.
And
did they censor the book?
No, they did. I mean.
Really?
They were
Google didn't censor your book, or Facebook, or Amazon censor that?
No, because it was decades ago. Now it was put through the ringer. You know, people. I mean, but not like cancel culture today, but just like, you know, that's kind of out there. You know, but you know, you do what you want to do.
My thing is this: there's enough people to get vaccinated on a lot of these really bad diseases,
like
that's the
polio,
point
of vaccination,
smallpox, and things like that. That we create a herd immunity. That these 1 or 2 or 3 people,
even without vaccines, you create herd immunity.
Correct.
That's why we didn't all die of the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why we didn't all die from polio
or the bubonic plague,
smallpox.
You know.
Or anthrax.
So.
Go down the list.
Here's the deal. The whole point of vaccines is not prevention of necessarily getting sick. Though it's prevention of getting deathly ill.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there may be polio in our systems, but our body knows how to handle it. Now, that's the whole point, right? So, if you're scared and you have no problem with the vaccine, you take the vaccine, everything's copacetic.
Yep.
If you're not scared and you don't trust the vaccine, don't get it. And you guess what? Everything's copacetic. And if you get really sick and you die, which the likelihood is not very good that will happen.
Yeah.
Now you might get very sick. And if you have really bad health, it's possible that you die.
And if you have a comorbidity,
but these are the risks that you take.
Yeah.
Spreading is not. You can't stop it. The vaccinated person is going to, if they have the virus, if they get sick again, which is possible, is going to spread it. The vaccine doesn't do anything, and the masks don't do anything to stop the spread. Stopping the spread is impossible.
Yes.
It's impossible.
You know what the
That's why flu has been around our entire lives, and our parents' lives, and their parents' lives, and it will be around. It will continue to be around.
You know what
because
quarantine
stopping
does do?
the spread is impossible.
Do you know what quarantine does do? Helps the government get more control.
Yes, exactly.
That's
this
all
is about
it does.
control. This is about control. They want to push. They wanted to push the vaccine passports, right? They want to push that, and so they drum up the scare of the Delta variant. I'm not saying that there isn't a Delta variant. I'm saying the scare for it
and they
is not related to reality.
Did you hear how they want to attach it? The vaccine passport?
No.
They want to attach it to your driver's license. But the problem with that is that they say that black people aren't smart enough to get IDs.
Ah, man, yeah, that's a real problem.
Voter ID is racist.
That's a real problem.
So how are people without IDs going to?
Well, and it's not just that they're smart; they're not smart enough. I mean, they might not be able to. You know,
they don't have the ability.
They're either too dumb or too poor.
Too poor for a free ID.
Well, you got to get to the place, and if you don't have a car, you got to take public transportation. But if you don't have enough money for public transportation,
then you're probably a hobo on the side of the street. And even hobos make pretty darn good money. I've seen these guys that collect money on the side of the street, holding the signs.
Mm-hmm.
They have wads of dough in their pockets. Blah. Their product, yeah.
But America's a hateful, greedy nation.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we have our problems. Our many spiritual problems.
Yes.
For sure. For sure. And greed is one of them. But we're also the most charitable, generous nation in the entire world.
In all of history. Far. In all of history. We are the most generous country ever.
By far. Like in the ordinance of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a tragedy happens in the world, a natural disaster.
Who's the first one to get there?
We were the first ones to get there. We're the first ones to donate money. Lots of other countries do donate money. But there's them, and then there's us, multiple billions more.
Yes.
You know? It's like the nearest one will be like $100 million that they gave, and we gave like $5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Granted, it's not money that we had. I mean, it's the Federal Reserve just printing money, so it's just another vehicle for them to indebt every American
if the federal government
destroy our dollar.
Didn't give the money, the American people still give hundreds of millions of dollars on their own.
Yes, that is also true.
For natural disasters all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's drives and whatnot.
No, you're absolutely right, and that is in. That again, it's like the rest of the world, and then.
I mean, look at the Red Cross. It's fully funded by people donating, not by the government, and yet only 5% of it goes to actually helping people, and that's still more than most countries give.
Yeah, for sure.
It just shows how much we give to people in need.
It's true. It's true.
And it's only because of people like us.
Yep.
Now, people that can't get their own IDs is just a ludicrous statement. And then,
and in the vein of charitable giving, just as a quick aside, we at Plausible Foolishness need you to give.
Ooh, yes.
You can support us right here, become a subscriber, or more beneficial, share the show. Share it on YouTube.
Please.
Share it here. Tell your friends to watch. Whatever you can do to get the word out. Whatever small thing you can do to get the word out. And thank you, JDM. You are a real American. The Empire thanks you for your voluntarily paid taxes.
Appreciate that.
But sharing is the biggest thing. Tell your friends.
Good. Dear Lord, Deep State.
Yes. Deep State, thank you. Also, you're not a real American. But yes, we do enjoy your
quips,
your attempts to sway us. And he subscribed with that's 18 months, and JBN was 10 months. That's huge. Thank you.
Yes.
And he says, what do you call a wolf that is woke? A werewolf. AWAREWOLF. A werewolf. Dad joke out the wazoo.
I love that stuff. And if my account wasn't completely blocked and canceled by Twitch, I'd be still donating that way. But
what about the other one you made?
Yeah, what other one?
That got canceled too? Jeez.
Apparently Twitch really doesn't like me. But I'm on here!
Wow.
I hope I don't get canceled on here.
Yeah. But, okay, so back to the ID thing. So basically they've blown up their entire voter ID argument.
Oh, completely. Absolutely destroyed it. It's like, here's one argument, here's our other argument, and pay no attention to the stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just geniuses.
Well, nobody ever accused a Democrat of being a genius.
It's difficult because in some respects, look what they've done. Look at the world that they've created. You know.
You mean destroyed?
They've been they've been very effective.
Yeah.
But then they go and do something like this, and totally do the opposite of redeeming themselves. You know.
Yeah.
It's like that's so dumb.
Yes.
Why would? How do they not see that correlation? Oh, to even go to a grocery store, you know, some people are saying you need to have a vaccine passport, and we'll just tie it to the driver's license. Well, what about all the people that can't get ID? You made the argument that's why voter ID laws shouldn't happen.
Yeah. So are you now advocating for voter IDs?
So no, what they're advocating for is for black people to not have access to anything in society. Because apparently black people are the people who don't have IDs and can't get them. So it's racist. They're just showing yet another aspect of their racism.
That's true.
And I don't know if you got the title. It's Lockdown 2.0. Where's Pliskin when we need him? If you don't know who that's from, that's Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
I love Pliskin.
New York and LA are both locking down again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, New York's doing it with the COVID, the vaccine passport. So it's only the unvaccinated that are locked down. You know, you can no longer function in society in New York City.
Oh dear Lord.
You know, if you are unvaccinated, because they just it's
it's
just their job to force you to get vaccinated, and they can't they're not going to send the cops to force you to get vaccinated to your home. They'll just make it so that you can't do anything unless you're vaccinated.
They'll starve you to death.
Yeah, they'll just starve you. You know, just kind of like I don't know, the Bolsheviks did when they took over Russia. We'll just starve you. You know, with Mao's great plan. You know, the Cultural Revolution and all that.
Stalin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just send you over to Siberia. It's okay. Just go over to Siberia. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean.
And another guy that shouldn't be named on any show because we might get banned.
Yeah, get canceled.
Yeah, who sent a certain religious group into chambers to be unlived.
Yeah. It's just so pathetic and so infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, thank God that there's some people in charge, in power, like DeSantis, saying that he's going to stand in the way. You want to do this, and it's not going to happen because I'm not going to let it happen.
You go, DeSantis.
But ultimately, you know, what's the problem here? What is the overarching cause of all of these issues that we've been talking about, for the most part?
The overarching issue that I have is that they are trying to infringe on our freedoms.
Yeah, but who is they?
Liberals.
I would take it to government.
Yeah. Government, liberals.
Government is the problem.
Government's always been the problem.
It always has been. The question is how far do we go in dismantling it? Like, the only thing that the the leftist propaganda, not propaganda, a progressive, woke, postmodern Marxist doesn't want to do is dismantle government.
No, because then they lose all control.
They want to deconstruct everything else except government.
Yeah, because they want the
control. And the only thing that we on the right want to deconstruct
is the government.
Is government.
Because we don't want them to be in control. Yeah. We don't want anybody to be in control.
I want to be in control of me.
Yeah, that's the only person that should be in control.
Now, I mean, there's some arguments to be made because, obviously, well, okay, so you're no anarchist.
No.
And I'm not on the road to becoming an anarchist, but there are some anarchists that make some compelling arguments.
There are some liberals that make compelling arguments. Doesn't mean I'm going to be a liberal.
I've never been compelled by an argument from the left.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I've had some compassionate pleas.
Compassionate pleas. But okay. I guess there's compassionate pleas.
But it doesn't mean that I'm going to.
But it's like
be swayed by compassion over logic. There's a lot of things that I feel compassionate about. The guy on the side of the road that's holding the sign that's full of money in his pocket. I feel compassionate
the thing is
for him, but I'm not going to give him money.
The thing is that it's not about compassion. Their mode of operation is that unless you agree with them, you're not compassionate.
Yeah.
That's never been the case.
No.
I mean, there's always discompassionate people out there, on either side, frankly. But I may feel compassion. I just disagree with you on how we solve that problem. That's the breakdown of that.
Usually.
So yeah, for the most part. Oh man, that's a terrible situation. I agree with you. That's horrible. So then we should do this. Nah, you're wrong.
Let's throw a ton of money at it and call it good.
Yeah, no, that's not going to do anything.
Work either.
And that's not their only, thing. It's just like
it is lately. Well, how many trillions of dollars have they spent?
There's that, but they also defunded a bunch of things. They defunded the police.
And blamed it on Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally news
that's as bad.
articles.
That's as bad as what Scarborough said. That not allowing medical discrimination is somehow socialist.
Yeah.
Freaking morons.
Yeah, about that. I have a few things to say about that. Yeah.
But okay, so where was I going?
I don't know. Where were you going? Anarchists.
Oh yeah, so how much of the government do we dismantle? Do we dismantle all of it? Well, I want to know what the plan then is to deal with people who don't
conform to the laws.
Well, what laws? First of all, there will be no laws, so then where do we go?
Essentially, it would be the purge. And then how do we
Potentially.
Well, then how do we produce?
Yeah, how do we deal with the outliers in society?
And then from there, how do we deal with other countries?
That's another big one. The clash of cultures, other countries that don't have zero government, and it's just there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you need a balance of full-out anarchy and socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So you need a balance, but I'd like that balance to be farther on the anarchy side or libertarianism side than on the socialist side, which right now we're full-blown socialism. Well, not full-blown yet, but pretty darn close to it. Well on our way.
I mean, yeah, JB, and I agree. The Constitution Constitution is pretty. It's pretty tight, you know, and I think that's good.
And it's well constructed.
But the problem is, like, you know, I mean, but look at California.
Yeah.
You know,
it's an absolute train wreck.
Like you can follow the Constitution, and then the state's powers can go out all kinds of crazy. You know, it's.
But that's here.
This is the endless fight because we live in a fallen world. Ultimately, this is the endless fight.
I honestly don't think California is going to be nearly as powerful in the next 3 years as it is currently today. It is on a serious head down decline.
For sure.
And then with everything else going on, I don't see them lasting more than 3 or 4 years, and then it just completely wipes them out.
Hmm.
And then they'll bring down a lot of other states with them.
It's going to bring down the rest, possibly the rest of the union. Anyway,
I hope not.
Final thoughts.
Are we already there?
Yeah.
Because I had so many other things to talk about.
Yeah, well, we nerded out. Took too long.
Yeah, we had the Mexico suing all the gun manufacturers
that can be your final
in the United
thought.
States.
That can be your final thought.
We had what was the other one?
Pick one of them to be your final thought. And you remembered the Mexico one, so.
Yeah, I did remember that. So at least I did get that one. I had it queued up. That's why. I was like, yeah, I have it right here. What was the other one I had?
Like the final thought segment doesn't have to be a Jerry Springer, you know.
The
words of wisdom at the end of the episode.
The ending of the ban on evictions.
Yeah.
So
a bunch of people
are getting evicted to the tune of somewhere around 10,000 as of today. They were already in the process, is now actually happening as of today. They're being evicted because they haven't paid their rent.
Yeah. So how many of them? Excuse me. How many of them are scumbags who just I don't have to pay rent. I'm not gonna. And how many of them are people who didn't have a job this entire time because their state went insane?
And those are the ones I feel sorry for. The rest of them I really don't. And considering how much money that the government has given out, some of that probably should have gone to paying your rent. Because I know the first thing my money goes to is to keep the house over my head. The next thing is food.
Yeah. Electricity.
Third, that's actually lower on my list. My very, very first thing that I do is I tithe.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing I do. The second thing I do is I make sure that the house is taken care of. The second thing is making sure that my family is fed. Or third thing. And then everything else comes after that. Electricity, I can live without electricity.
Not really.
Yeah, you can.
How do you cook?
Easily. I've got a grill. I didn't say it was easy.
Yeah.
I just said.
Well, you did. You said easily.
What?
But.
Yeah, well, I did. Semantics. I'm just saying. It's the priorities that I put forth.
Sure.
I make sure that my kids are fed. I make sure that they have a house over their head.
But some people may have been like, okay, I've got all this stuff going on, right? And there's this moratorium on eviction, so I can kind of focus on these other things that we also need and not have to pay right now.
But they had a year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not the brightest idea.
So instead of.
But they were forced either way. They were forced into this situation. Well,
to the tune
not
of
all of them. I mean,
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There's a lot of people for sure.
Like, there. Okay.
But not everybody.
When we were under lockdown,
lots of people who don't qualify for that for whatever reason.
When we were under lockdown, people getting unemployment were getting paid more than I was.
Yeah, sure.
And I was working. I never stopped working. All the way through all the lockdowns, I never stopped working. And they were getting paid more than me.
Yeah.
There were actually times I actually discussed it with my boss. I was like, hey, these people are making a lot more than me, and I'm working. And he goes, yeah, I know. I can't afford to pay you more right now. I go, okay, well, I like my job. I'm going to continue doing my job. Let's make it work.
For sure.
So,
like none of the all of those things are true.
I have issue with people who had a chance to be on unemployment, had a chance to get stimulus checks, have had chances to then get a job. There are currently 11 million jobs that are available right now in the United States, and there are only 9 million people on unemployment. That's a 2 million job surplus.
Mm. I agree with all of that.
Get a freaking job.
There are people who don't fit into that category, and at the heart of it all,
such a small minority.
For sure. At the heart of it all, though, every single one of these people were forced into that situation by the government.
I won't say all, but I'd say some of them.
How would they not have been?
I'm not paying my rent because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it.
Oh, okay. No. I'm not talking about the eviction status. I'm talking about the not having a job.
Oh.
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
that completely is on the government.
The lack of money, whatever. You know. Yeah. Anyway, it's that's going to be a big mess.
It is.
It's going to be a big mess. Yeah. So is that your final thought?
That is my final thought. That was one of the big things I really want to bring up tonight. Was the eviction notice thing is ending. Senate didn't pass anything to stop it. Then all the Democrats go running to the CDC. Please, CDC, stop this travesty. And the CDC goes, we have no authority to do that. But they were the ones that said we should do it in the beginning so that people could have homes over their heads. And the Senate passed that portion of the bill with the stimulus. And why are the Democrats running to the CDC? Because, the CDC writes law, right?
That's what the legislature does now. They abdicate their authority to the alphabet agencies.
Yeah.
They don't write laws. They write
checks.
Yes.
Actually,
what they write is they write like little IOU-1 bill to be paid by the CDC or the EPA. It's like we're going to defer to the experts on how this should look. This is there's going to be a law here restricting such and such or whatever.
This area.
Yeah, and this area, but we're not experts. The experts are in the EPA, so we're going to let them fill it out.
Kind of like what they did with analog TV.
Yeah, it all just becomes like they don't actually have to figure it out. They don't actually have to write a law. They just write that's why the bills are so giant, is because they have to put all this funky wording in, and then later it's filled in with regulations created by these alphabet agencies, and it's disgusting.
And that's why
so they don't even do anything.
No, they don't. They really don't.
It's so
pathetic. IRS, CDC, none of them. They do absolutely nothing well, and they do nothing right.
Yeah, but I mean, Congress itself doesn't do anything.
They do even less.
Yeah, they do even less. They let these other places do it for them, and you didn't elect those places. You didn't elect those people.
No.
They just got hired. Anyway, my final thought is I'm going to quickly tell you what my ending would have been to episode 8. So he is there in person.
Okay.
Okay. And he does block all those shots. They don't go through him. He blocks them because he's a badass.
And he stops them.
He stops them.
Which is awesome. I love that force ability. I think that's a pretty cool.
Oh, like where they're frozen?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't. He blocks them. He blocks them. So you get the smoke and you think that he's dead. You get that same effect, except that later you find out, oh, he was just a force ghost, so that it just went right through him and you couldn't have hurt him. No, he was there, and he blocked it all. Badass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then,
Kylo?
Kylo comes down, and they fight. And it's an epic fight. And freaking Luke is just schooling him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nothing.
Like Luke Skywalker would school him.
Yes. But the whole time he's speaking very gently with him, pleading with him. Ben, I'm not your enemy. Alright? I apologize for what I did or whatever. You know,
Kinda
but
like
I'm
what he
not
did with
here.
his father.
Yeah, I'm not here to, you know, I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to save you, you know? This is your choice, blah, blah, blah. And they're fighting, you know, you have to write it a certain way. But that basically he's speaking very gently to him, but just like, you know, Kylo cannot get a hit on him. And then, eventually it ends with him taking his, like, Kylo rejects him fully and completely and says, no, you're a liar, I don't believe you, and
I will destroy
I
you.
will destroy you. And then you see Luke sigh, and then he takes the pose that Obi-Wan took.
I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Yes. Takes the form that Obi-Wan took against Darth Vader in A New Hope. And Kylo goes in for the strike, and then clothes just fall to the ground. And that's the end of Luke Skywalker. But is it the end? No, because we know that he's a Force ghost now.
Yes.
And that's awesome, and it's a much more fitting end. If we even needed to
run, Rey, run.
If we even needed to end Luke Skywalker's life at that point. But
it's a fitting ending to his story.
Yeah, it's so good to me.
It's a very Star Wars ending.
Yes. And it's a callback to his master.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Love Obi-Wan.
So good. Anyway, I think it's good. Maybe I'm just got the ego of a crazy person.
But it ties in really well with The
so.
Force Awakens being a repeat of A New Hope,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have this ending, and then you have a much better spot to start from in that,
Mm-hmm.
and then the redemption of Kylo is all the better if you want to go that route in the next one, or you can follow it further and let him fall down that dark path
Mm-hmm.
to his own demise,
Mm-hmm.
which would be a fun story in and of itself.
Yep. Either way. Anyway.
It just opens up so many different avenues that's fun to explore, and I just really wish they would have done something like that. And also, fix Rey. And how you fix her is you don't make her a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
She is the clearest definition of a Mary Sue that's ever been put on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Even more than Captain Marvel.
Yeah. All right, well, you've been watching Plausible Foolishness, home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary. We serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram, Minds, Rumble.
Love that Rumble.
And anywhere you can get a podcast. Peace out.
Yo, it's crazy that when I sit back and look, that even within the black community, we have a whole war going on amongst conservatives and others simply about how we want to